What's up everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. During the last part, we got to see what happened once Gohan actually went back to the past. And now, there's a little bit more to cover here before he actually goes back home. We'll be sticking around here and seeing more of that in this part, as well as what happens beyond that once Gohan actually returns. For this video, let's set a like goal of 3,500 likes. If we hit that, I'll continue with another part of this series. Anyways, let's pick up from here. So now, Gohan actually does have to stay in the past for a little bit. He wants to stick around a little bit longer just to make sure things are okay, and they don't want him to leave right yet. Especially like I mentioned last time, Goku and Piccolo are suspicious of him. Not suspicious, but they're wondering what's going on with him. He's been acting very shifty, and they don't know what it is, but they decide to check it out, just to make sure he's actually okay. And of course, even though he tries to hide it, he eventually ends up having to explain it to them. He knows he can't really hide it for too long, so he tells them all about what happened. Trunks did exist in his timeline, and he explains. Trunks was a student basically, and also kind of a brother to him. He tells them everything that went down. The fact that he and Trunks are basically the last survivors, and the only people trying to fight the androids. It was only because of Trunks' death that he was able to access Super Saiyan 2. And ever since then, it's been on his mind. Even now, Gohan still lives with it. This isn't something that just went away easily. He's always thought about it. He's always felt that guilt. And even though he has been getting better, it's not really the same. He can never go back to feeling how he felt before. The androids are gone, but so is one of his best friends ever. And the one who was in his life the longest, basically, besides Bulma and Chi-Chi. Because when you look at it, Trunks was actually around for Gohan's life longer than anyone else was. 14 years they were together. And he tells them this is why he never mentioned Trunks. He lied about it through omission, and he feels bad for it, but he couldn't bring himself to tell them. He didn't know what to say or how to phrase it. It's been on his mind ever since, and he didn't want to hide it from them, it's just that he didn't know what else to do about it. Goku acknowledges everything that his son has been through. He sees what happened. Losing Future Goku, then all the other fighters, and then Trunks, the only person he had left. But even Trunks, he ended up losing Trunks too. And Goku can tell. Gohan's been through way more than they could have thought. Yeah, there was the androids and all, but now putting it into perspective, there is so much more trauma that he went through in his life. Which is why it was so important for him to save this timeline, even if it doesn't affect his. Either way, Goku can kind of feel for him. And he tells Gohan, he understands. Piccolo agrees too. He did nothing wrong, and they get why he didn't tell them before. And Goku tells Future Gohan he has high hopes for the present version of Gohan. If he turns out anything like this Gohan, which it seems like he will, Goku's gonna be proud. It seems both of his sons are growing up well, and he's glad. Future Gohan barely even knows how to react. He's glad that they were so understanding. But of course, he could have trusted them in the first place. He feels bad for not mentioning it before. He should have known to trust these two. And he thanks them for checking up on him and letting him confide within them. But now, it's time for Gohan to go back home. He's about to say goodbye, until they sense something. Something strange, something they've never sensed before, and it's an ominous key. It feels familiar and foreign at the same time. What is this? They've never sensed anything like it. Gohan steps out of the time machine. His work here might not be done, and the group looks around, trying to figure out what's going on. This key that they sense, it can't be right. And Gohan wonders, is this another android or something? No, that wouldn't make sense. He couldn't sense the other androids, so how would he sense this one? Well, they're not gonna know for sure unless they check it out. So, just to make sure everything's okay, he goes with them. They go and search out this key, and eventually, they go into a city where they find nothing. Like, everyone there's just clothes scattered about, but no people. They don't know what happened here. Until a creature steps out, a green monster. They've never seen anything like it. It's Cell. This monster, he smirks. He's glad to see that Goku's there, exactly who he wanted to find, and he chuckles. He asks them about the androids. The androids? Gohan mentions that they're gone. Of course, they've been taken to Capsule Corp to be reprogrammed, but he makes it seem like that they're actually dead. And Cell acts confused. This timeline too? Wait, what does he mean, this timeline? You know what? Cell's gonna kill them all anyways, so he might as well give them an explanation. He tells them who he is, where he's from, and what he's here for. Of course, this enrages Gohan to no end, knowing that another timeline existed, and this Cell, whoever he is, he killed Future Gohan in that timeline. Everything he worked for was essentially for nothing then. And now he comes here to terrorize this timeline to try and get the androids for himself? Gohan's not gonna let it slide, especially because this is another android. Even if he didn't have this backstory, Gohan would have immediately been on guard given the fact that he is an android. And the others are too, but they're ready for a fight. They prepared for the other androids, and it seems like they're gonna have to use that preparation for this android instead. And luckily the group is pretty big. Goku, Gohan, and Gohan power up. The others watch on the side. If their help is needed, they will join in. But Goku and the two Gohans should be enough. Cell is confident too. He doesn't know how strong these people are. But from what he can guess, they're not going to be strong enough to contend with him, although he's clearly misjudging them here. The battle begins, Cell versus the 3 Super Saiyans. Right away, he tries to stab one of them with his tail, aiming for Future Gohan, who's the strongest, but he underestimates Gohan's speed. Gohan isn't Super Saiyan 2, and he isn't playing around here. He immediately dodges the attack, thinking that it was just some normal attack, but then he sees the tail. There's a sharp end to it. Why was he trying to stab Gohan? Cell continues to do so, trying to puncture Gohan in any way he can. Gohan doesn't know what that tail's gonna do, but maybe it's gonna poison them or something worse. Either way, he knows to avoid it, and he warns the other two, stay away from that tail. He cuts it off, and Cell immediately regenerates it. He's part Namekian after all, which they're just now learning. It explains why they could sense Piccolo's ki within him, and before he mentioned, he was part of everyone here, which means he has all their abilities too. He even shows off a Kamehameha, trying to use it to kill the 3 of them, but of course, it does nothing. He's surprised. They're actually stronger than he thought. But like I mentioned too, Future Gohan's not playing around here. Not to mention, he's also in Super Saiyan 2 right now. He's not fighting in regular Super Saiyan. Him alone might actually be enough against Cell, and with Goku and Gohan there too, well, once they start getting more serious, they realize, yeah, Cell's not really that big of an issue. The 3 of them finish off Cell together with their own Kamehameha, and none of them hold back at all. Every little bit of Cell is erased, and now they don't have to worry about him anymore. He's been defeated, pretty easily in fact, and it gives Gohan a heads up. In his timeline, there might be another version of this Cell. He didn't know about him here, but thankfully, like I mentioned in the last part, Jiro's lab was completely destroyed, even that basement part that was hidden. So now Gohan knows to expect this in the future, whether it's going to be Cell time traveling or Cell awakening within that timeline. Who knows though? And now Gohan can finally return home. He thanks everyone for the time spent here, but they thank him. He shouldn't be the one thanking them. He helped them. He saved this timeline. He's a hero. And he's glad to hear it. He hasn't really felt like one in a while, but now he truly does. He got to see his friends, his family, everyone, and he saved them. He got to fight alongside them. He got to train them. And he learned from them too. Plus, he got to see himself in the past. A glimpse into what his life would have been like if the androids never showed up. He's a bit saddened by it, but also at the same time, happy. Happy that this Gohan's gonna get to grow up and actually be a scholar like he wanted to. Happy that this Gohan's gonna grow up in relative peace compared to his timeline. And happy that this Gohan is gonna grow up with the Trunks in his timeline. He wants to make sure that this Gohan protects everyone. And Gohan acknowledges it. The 2 Gohans fist bump. Glad to have seen each other. Gohan turns to Goku too. With the 2 hugging, Gohan's really glad to have seen him. It's been so long since he last saw Goku. And even if it was temporary, he's glad he got to see him once again, whether or not it truly was his Goku. The same goes for his teacher and closest friend Piccolo. But he can't stay here forever. It's time to go back home. He says his goodbyes, returning to his timeline. He's actually starting to feel better about this whole Trunks thing. That guilt that he felt, everything he felt surrounding it, it's slowly dissipating. Of course, it never fully goes away. But Goku and Piccolo really helped him out back there. And him just saving that timeline in general, that really helped. It made him truly feel like he was doing something good. Something was going right in his life for once. Things may not be perfect, but he's content. He's more content than he ever was before. Bulma's glad that he returned okay. And of course, this didn't reverse everything that happened here, but he did end up saving another timeline, so that does count for something. And also, they did get some pretty important information. The fact that Cell's gonna show up. Had Gohan not gone to the past and figured out that Cell existed, he would have showed up here and probably done a sneak attack, and probably would have gotten the upper hand pretty quickly. And now Gohan knows. He prepares, ready for Cell's arrival. He knows he's gonna be strong enough to counter him in general. But he wants to make sure that he knows Cell's gonna be there when he arrives. Eventually down the line, Cell does arrive, and Gohan doesn't even waste any time. He just tells Cell he knows his whole plan, and immediately, he kills Cell. And with that, the androids are done with. Both in the past timeline and the present timeline, or I guess the future timeline. Gohan's present, at least. 17, 18, and Cell are dead. And hopefully this means that the timeline can live in peace from now on. He vows to himself, he's never gonna let anything like this happen ever again. Of course, by now he's partially gotten over the guilt, so it's not like he fully blames himself for this, but he knows he can help prevent it in the future, prevent anything like this from happening, all this loss, destruction, and everything. Everything he does from now on is to protect those who are left, not worrying about those who have died already. That doesn't mean he's gonna forget the people that are dead. It's just that he recognized that he can't mull on it forever. He needs to move on, he needs to grow stronger from it, he needs to learn from it. And he'll make sure they didn't die in vain. Everything he does from now on is to protect everyone that's still left. And also done in honor of those who have died. Gohan has hope. He looks ahead to a bright future. Sure, the androids might be dealt with, but this isn't the last threat that Earth's gonna face. A few years down the road, another threat appears. Two visitors come to Earth, greeting Gohan. They actually seem like good people. He's never seen them before, but he feels intimidated by them. It's the Supreme Kai and his attendant, Shin and Kibito. Supreme Kai? Like King Kai? Oh no, they're above him. And this gives Gohan some anxiety. Why are they here? There must be something bad going on. Is that the case? And it is. But they tell Gohan not to worry. As long as he helps them out, this will be sorted. He briefly leaves Earth, telling Bulma that he'll be back soon. He needs to prevent whatever's about to happen from happening. The three of them go to the sacred world of Kais, as Shin begins explaining more and more. A threat is about to appear on Earth, Majin Buu, but with Gohan's help, they can at least try and stop this. You'll need to fight Dabura, Babidi's strongest henchman, and as long as they can get past him, then they can prevent Babidi from getting energy for Buu's egg. That's all? Gohan just needs to fight this guy? Well, it's easier said than done. They tell Gohan, Dabura is incredibly powerful, but they do want to test Gohan's power. Maybe he'll be a good enough match for him. And a great way to test this is to see if he can pull the Z sword. So, he does so. Damn, it's been a while since he fought with a sword. He kinda remembers from when Piccolo was teaching him to use one. And he does remember that Trunks had one too, but himself, he hasn't really used one in a while. But this is more of a training tool, they say. Although he definitely will be using this in battle if he pulls it. And it takes a lot of effort, but Gohan is able to pull the Z sword. By now, he's still been training with Super Saiyan 2 after all, and he's gotten a lot stronger. Remember, I said he's not gonna slack off or anything. He wants to prevent any other destruction on Earth, so he's kept up with his training. He's been the only one here that can fight after all. Even though he would have loved to live another life, he can't. He's basically the protector of Earth, the protector of this timeline. He has been training still. He wants to hone his power even further, maybe even go beyond Super Saiyan 2, but that remains to be seen. He pulls the Z sword, amazing Shin and Kibito. This is great. He'll definitely be enough to fight Dabura if he could use this, and he actually swings the sword around pretty efficiently. How strong is Gohan truly? They knew he was powerful, but is he really that strong? Well, the true test of it will be their fight against Dabura. They get back on Earth, and eventually they do find Dabura and Babidi. And Gohan's not gonna pace himself or try to enjoy the fight or anything, he's just gonna go in for the kill. As soon as he can, he wants to try and kill Dabura. Stop this before it ever happens. They're glad that Gohan's here too. He'll be a great way to get some power. They could definitely use him as a battery for Buu. But he tells them that's not gonna happen. They came to the wrong planet. Yeah, he is strong and all, but that's just gonna work against them. They're not gonna get any energy from him. Matter of fact, they're not gonna get energy from Earth in general. Babidi tells them to stop acting so confident. And Gohan says he's not being cocky at all. He's just putting it bluntly. They're gonna lose here. Is that so? Before Babidi could even continue the conversation, the Z sword is flung in his direction. He's barely able to move out of the way in time. That was close. But when he jumps out of the way, he realized that Gohan's right next to him, launching a single blast and eviscerating Babidi. He then picks up the Z sword, which is lodged in the ground. He points it at Dabura. What's he gonna do now without his master? Dabura attacks, and Gohan powers up into Super Saiyan 2. Dabura pulls out his own sword, and the two begin clashing. But fighting with a sword was never really Gohan's style. So once again, he uses it as a distraction. He flings it at Dabura, trying to pierce him with it. Dabura swats it away. But briefly, with his arm and the sword getting in the way, it blocks his vision. And as soon as his arm moves out of the way, he sees Gohan standing right in front of him. A powerful kick is delivered to his stomach. He's sent flying down to the ground, and Gohan launches a massive Masenko, not holding back at all. Dabura tries to get up, but it's already too late. The Masenko hits him head on, killing Dabura before he could even fight back. Shin and Kibito just watched on amazed. He truly is that strong. They kinda doubted at first, but this just proves it. What an incredible mortal. Gohan asks them if that's all, and they say yeah, he's defended Earth. Actually, no, the entire galaxy, the universe. He stopped Majin Buu's revival, and Gohan's glad, turning over to the Kais and smiling. He thanks them for warning him, and they thank him for his help. What a truly fascinating specimen. But once again, Gohan can remain content that his Earth is safe. Although, Shin and Kibito might have other plans for Gohan. This power, they could definitely hone it even further. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? Or what do you think is going to happen next time? Leave any thoughts in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part of the series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to be notified about any future uploads to my channel, including more parts of this series or any other videos like it. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.